our home, incubator of life, through our lines.
Hello, this is Luminousz Ztarr, and happy holidays to everyone. Today's video is the real reason why there's tension in the relationship with the narcissist. All of my stars who are watching today or tonight, wherever you may be, I wish you the very best. And on that note, thank you so much for your subscription. Thank you for motivating me and inspiring me to keep Luminousz Ztarr channel active. If this is your first time visiting Luminousz Ztarr, welcome to Luminousz Ztarr, and why don't you hit that subscription button below and become a part of the Ztarr family. Okay, so today's video again is the real reason why there's tension in the relationship between you and the narcissist. The levels of consciousness may have a lot to do with it. Usually the narcissist, they are operating from a place of fear. Therefore, they're operating, or they tend to operate, from a lower state of consciousness. The level of consciousness a person has a lot to do with their view of life, their view of other people and themselves. Not only that, their level of consciousness has a lot to do with what types of emotions he or she particularly feels or they express. This does not exclude the narcissist. So the narcissist level of consciousness has a lot to do with how he or she views themselves and the world in particular. That also means that he or she has particular emotions that they will express and feel. So this will cause tension in the relationship. Okay, so having said all that, I want to go ahead and remind everyone to please like and share this video. And don't forget, this holiday season, be good to yourself. I'm Luminousz Ztarr. Stay tuned for the video. Hi, this is Luminousz Ztarr. Welcome to the channel. The real reason there is tension in a relationship with a narcissist. Topics of discussion. The various levels of consciousness will determine if you will become a source supply for the narcissist. Topic number 2, your compliance is required by the narcissist, but it is your discretion which is advised. Third topic, the breakdown is the prerequisite of the breakthrough. Don't count on the narcissist to ever realize this. First point, individuals have the choice to function from a lower vibrational frequency or a higher vibrational frequency. Narcissists operate from a place of fear. Therefore, by functioning from a lower vibrational frequency, he or she will cause tension within the relationship. Due to having a drive to keep the false self-image relevant, the narcissist will attempt to obtain source supply by juggling shenanigans, which may leave others feeling uneasy. Pause. So the narcissist and the cluster personality, they're doing a lot of things to make sure that he or she has that source supply at the end of the day, meaning their false self-image rules the end of his or her day. They operate from a lower vibrational frequency simply because they operate from a place of fear. One of the emotions that narcissists and cluster personality feel and they have no problem expressing is fear. So they tend to cause tension in his or her relationships. Let's move forward. Those who behave codependently tend to have difficulty with self-confidence, self-esteem, and practicing self-preservation. However, he or she tends to be pretty good at feeling empathy, compassion, and love for others. Those who tend to have a particular level of consciousness will have a certain outlook on life in general, which may determine what emotions he or she will have no problem expressing and or feeling in relationships. Pause. So a person's level of consciousness absolutely has a lot to do with how he or she views the world and others as well as themselves. Not only that, their level of consciousness will tend to have a lot to do with the type of emotions he or she tends to feel. The narcissist and the cluster personality, one of the emotions, as I stated, they tend to feel a lot and have no problem expressing is fear, which means their level of consciousness is lower. They tend to operate from a lower vibrational frequency, which again can cause tension wherever he or she goes. They may cause uneasiness in others. They may cause or influence others to feel sad or angry. The narcissist and the cluster personality, due to the fact that they have a particular consciousness, their outlook on life tends to be quite negative. Therefore, the emotions that they tend to feel are also, well, one would say negative, or could say that it's negative, such as fear. The other three emotions that narcissists tend to feel and express with no problem is jealousy, hatred, and anger. So there are the four emotions that narcissists tend to feel, which again reflect that they have a lower state of consciousness, and their outlook on life tends to match that. Our level of consciousness has a lot to do with our outlook on life, as well as the emotions that we tend to feel. So if you're in a relationship with a cluster personality or a narcissist, this can be causing some of the tension in the relationship because your level of consciousness is quite different from that of the narcissist or the cluster personalities. Narcissists and those with a cluster personality do not regulate his or her emotions very well, therefore tend to feed off of the energy field of others. Narcissists emotionally manipulate others to be in an unhealthy relationship with him or her. There's a requirement to comply to countless demands and unrealistic expectations by the narcissist. Personal boundaries, challenges, and threats to the false self-image are not tolerated by narcissists. By choosing to use discretion, one can start to reclaim personal power. Pause. So if you use discretion, in other words, pretty good judgment, when it comes to the narcissist and the cluster personality, this is one way that you can reclaim your personal power back from him or her. The narcissist and the cluster personality, they do not invest in healthy relationships. They have to manipulate others in order to be in that unhealthy relationship with him or her. They have to use emotional manipulation in order for the source supply and the potential source supply, such as the targeted prey, to remain around him or her, or to even want to be around him or her. So in order to have others around him or her, the cluster personality and the narcissist must emotionally manipulate others in order to obtain source supply. The cluster personality and the narcissist, they do tend to feed off of the energy field of others. They don't know how to regulate their own emotions in order to sustain themselves. When people emotionally regulate, this is another way that he or she knows how to self-regulate. In other words, they know how to maintain their own energy in order to sustain themselves. They don't have to go around like a vampire and suck the energy off of other people's energy fields. Let's move forward. Breaking down is often what is necessary in order to have a real breakthrough in life. The only time a narcissist is at risk of experiencing a psychological breakdown is when his or her false self-image is seriously challenged by something or someone that cannot be controlled in order to fit his or her twisted fantasy. So when a person challenges the narcissist and or the cluster personality, usually it is done unintentionally. It is done unconsciously. In other words, the other person doesn't mean the narcissist any harm. The narcissist perceives that he or she is being challenged when the false self-image is being threatened. One way a person can unconsciously challenge the cluster personality is by practicing personal boundaries. Now, I know that might sound a little strange, but we're dealing with the cluster personality and the narcissist. So by simply practicing personal boundaries, yeah, you are threatening the false self-image of the narcissist and the cluster personality, and you don't even know it. A person who finds out who the narcissist really is, what they really represent, is a person that can influence the narcissist and cluster personality to have a psychological breakdown. The narcissist and the cluster personality has a fantasy that is constantly going on inside of his or her head. So whenever someone or something threatens that, the narcissist is at risk of suffering or experiencing a psychological breakdown because it totally goes against his or her fantasy. The fantasy could be that the narcissist thinks that he or she is a saint. They're above everyone else. They're like a god. Whenever something or someone challenges that, once again, the narcissist in the cluster personality is at risk of suffering a psychological breakdown. Let's move forward. The narcissist will do what is necessary in order to resist, reject, and damage everyone and everything that threatens his or her false self-image. The narcissist experiencing a breakdown in order to have a breakthrough in personal growth will more than likely never happen. Narcissists and cluster B personalities are masters at psyching themselves out with their own lies. Simply put, the cluster B personality and the narcissist, they're so good at being manipulative and lying and being deceptive that they psych themselves out into believing their own lies. Let's move forward. Tool number 1, take time out for yourself. Spending a lot of time with the narcissist will affect your overall health unless you periodically take a mental, psychological, spiritual, and emotional break from the shenanigans of the narcissist. If one is not careful, he or she can experience a breakdown long before the narcissist ever will. The narcissist may never change. The narcissist in the cluster B personality, they will do whatever is necessary in order to maintain their false self-image. That means lying to themselves. Not only lying to you, but lying to themselves. And even living a lie, which most of them do anyway. When you are spending a lot of time with a person like that, your overall health is going to be compromised. No question, no doubt about it. When you take mental breaks from the narcissist and cluster B personality, those are moments of clarity that can occur. In other words, the very things about the relationship that is being shown to you, but you may have been denying. So when you spend time away from the narcissist, the risk of your having moments of clarity increase. Now, I don't mean to make it sound like, like a risk that's bad. This is good because we all have moments of clarity. The question is, do we pay attention to those moments of clarity or not? It's about what do we do when we have those moments of clarity? Do we so-called do the right thing? Or do we go ahead and continue to act like we didn't have those moments of clarity? When we are having those moments of clarity, it is more than likely because we're spending time away from the narcissist, because he or she is not around us to distract us. Not trying to make it sound like it's totally their fault. What I'm saying is that when we are not around the narcissist and cluster B personality, those moments of clarity tend to become more frequent. If one is not careful, they can suffer a mental breakdown, a psychological breakdown, an emotional breakdown, whatever breakdown you want to call it. He or she is more at risk of having that breakdown long before the narcissist will ever experience a breakdown. The narcissist more than likely will not change. When a person is hanging around the narcissist, when they are spending a lot of time with the cluster B personality and narcissist, he or she will suffer some type of health issue that can lead right into having some sort of breakdown, whether it's mental, emotional, spiritual, because they really want the narcissist to change. It is a waste of time and energy to hang around the narcissist in hopes that he or she will change. Tool number 2, build a support base for yourself in order to have a constructive outlet. The experience of an unhealthy relationship with a narcissist may be painful and even traumatic. There needs to be a balance. Therefore, having an outlet to express emotions may prove to be a game changer. The support base can provide many helpful tools to deal with challenges that come with having an unhealthy relationship, regardless if it's with the narcissist or someone who does have a cluster B personality. Pause. You definitely need some sort of emotional outlet. The narcissist will not provide you that. Your support base, you're going to need it. The narcissist will not be a part of your support base. They're not interested in your overall well-being. Build that support base for yourself in order to have a constructive outlet. I can tell you all from experience, that is a game changer. Because at first, I did try to do this alone. Didn't work. So build that support base in order to have a constructive outlet. Let's move on to the third tool. Tell and share your story. By sharing your experiences of being in a relationship with a narcissist may help others to do the same as they thrive forward. There are many creative ways to tell your story in order to inspire others to thrive forward past narcissistic abuse. Pause. So share and tell your stories. Some of you have kept the secret long enough. Therefore, you have been supplying the narcissist unconsciously. When we keep the deep, dark, dirty secrets of the narcissist, that is another way to supply him or her. So tell and share your stories. There's so many creative ways you can do that. Write a book, write a memoir, write a song. Some of you are very talented and gifted musically. Absolutely share and tell your stories that way. Do a video. Start a channel. Use social media. Matter of fact, especially my stars, I encourage you to do that. You don't know who's going to resonate with your stories. So tell and share your stories. Levels of consciousness. So here's a chart that I would like for you all to take some time out later to look at. Here is your level, and this is the log or the number or the rate. Here's the emotion, and here's the life view. As I was stating before, a person's level of consciousness will affect the type of emotions he or she tends to express and feel, and their life view. Example, enlightenment. That's the level of consciousness. I'm going to skip the log here. All right, just go back and study this later. So here's your level. Enlightenment. Peace, joy, love, reason, acceptance, willingness, neutrality, and courage. Bliss, trust, affirmation, so on and so forth. Life view is, okay, perfect, complete, hopeful, satisfactory, so on and so forth. This tends to be a person's life view. Now, this is a higher level of consciousness. This is why this is on the top. Now, the lower levels of consciousness, pride. The emotion they tend to feel is scorn. Their life view is demanding. This is where the narcissist is. Okay? So, now you can begin to see why there's a lot of tension in the relationship with him or her. Your level may be of reason. This is your level of consciousness, which may be of reason. So therefore, the emotion you may experience and feel is understanding. You may experience, express, and feel this emotion. Your life view may be quite meaningful. Now, you're in a relationship with a narcissist. Their level of consciousness is a little bit lower. Okay? So they may be full of pride. The emotion they may feel and express and experience is scorn. Their life view may be quite demanding. Again, now you can see where the tension may come in. So as you check out this chart, you may begin to see why there's a lot of tension in the relationship with those people that you know right now who may have a narcissistic personality and a cluster B personality. References and resources. Again, I had mentioned this is in the description box below. I'm Luminousz Ztarr. Happy holidays to everyone. Stay tuned for more videos.